In this video, we will discover proportional editing in edit mode. So to discover this, I will just show you how it a little with another object than a cube, because we will need more geometry. So for that, I will just take a grid here and I will subdivide my grid with a lot of vertices. So I would like maybe something like 100 to start. Okay, so I will take 100 and 100 subdivisions like that, and like this, when I go into edit mode, I will have a lot of vertices available there. I will go into orthographic view to see a little better what I do, and I will select one vertex somewhere, so it will be this one, let's say. And now I will activate the proportional editing. So what does the proportional editing? It will move proportionally around your selection, let's say a kind of influence surface like this, an influence here, that you can move your object and it will give you an influence like this. You can see the big circle around. So I can increase or decrease this circle with the wheel of my mouse. Okay, so if I move down the wheel and if I move up the wheel, okay, you can see the circle that will have more influence into my object. Okay, so a very powerful feature that have a lot of little options that we will discover now. Here we have the possibility to change the interpolation mode. So by default, it's a smooth, it's a kind of Bezier curve, here. If I do a GZ, you can see it's a kind of Bezier curve here, interpolation like that. Okay, so I will have a kind of dome like this. But if I change the interpolation with sphere, okay, it will make another kind of interpolation, more like a dome, but with a sharp here, with a sharp definition there. Okay, same thing here. If you take the root, you will have something a little different again. Okay, and you have all these possibilities, the inverse square. Okay, and another with the sharp here. And you will have all of these possibilities. The linear that creates a straight, something totally straight that will give you a cone shape directly, okay? And the constant that will take everything around. So I just make a GZ here. Each time I move my vertex, I make a GZ to move it up, okay? And the random makes it randomly, okay, as it says. So a very powerful feature to move everything that is a little, let's say, organic, but even for non-organic shapes it can work too. And you will see that we will use it during the training to make little things. But let's give you some examples, little examples that we could use to show you how it will work. So let's say I would like to create a kind of terrain, a kind of land here. Really quick. Okay, if I would like to make some little hills, I will take here maybe the smooth here, and I will just select randomly into my square just some dots around here and around there. Okay, and just with proportional editing on, now I will just make a GZ and it will create a first, let's say, hills section. And let's say I would like to create others, so I will take other places, sometimes here, sometimes there, sometimes there. So I just do shift left click to select my second set of hills. And this time maybe it will be more little. So I will decrease the size with the wheel of my mouse and go a little less high. Okay, let's say something like that maybe. Yeah, something like that is not that bad. Good. And let's say I would like on the top of each hill like this, create some sharpness maybe. So I will take some time on the crease here, sometimes there, other interesting shapes. And this time maybe I will take kind of sharp here like this, okay, and we'll make a GZ. and I will have a more mountainous look, let's say, and I will create another, and this time I will select more of this, okay? So not that, yeah, to have a kind of real mountainous shape and have little creases everywhere. Okay. So you take just your time to make a little more, to have a bigger selection like this, and you will take something like so, okay? And it will create a kind of mountainous shape very quick and very easily like that, okay? So it can be interesting to work sometime with proportional addition in edit mode with every organic shape. But let's say, for example, you would like to move I will remove this object and I will add a UV sphere here, or a circle, let's say, okay? A circle is a good example, and I will take maybe 20 vertices, and I would like to make a leaf shape here, okay? So, and we will do this exercise after, so we will just taking here and make with GX, and with the good interpolation you can see that it will create the leaf shape very easily, and with GX again on that side with a bigger interpolation, and we have a leaf shape. Good, it works very quick, very easily. So this can be very interesting to work with that. Or let's say with another circle here, okay, I could, for example, take that shape and create a sphere interpolation, and with SX create a kind of interpolation like that, okay? And I will have this kind of shape too. A lot of possibilities with this, okay? With the interpolation here and proportional editing. But let's say, for example, you have two parts of your mesh. Like for example, we will add a Suzanne here. And Suzanne by default has three parts. We have the body of Suzanne with L. We can select, let's say, the head of Suzanne. And you can see that the eyes are not linked to the rest of the geometry. So we have three islands into one Suzanne, okay? So I can select with L this part or with L this part. And let's say I would like to turn the eyes of Suzanne, or to move the eyes of Suzanne without changing the topology of the rest of the head. So I can select here my eyes, and I will enable here the proportional editing with smooth. But when I move, you can see that everything is moving, okay? The eyes are moving, but inside it's moving too, and outside it's moving too. Me, I would like to move only the eyes, okay? And to do this, we can just make a connected only, and it will move only the eyes, okay? So like this, I can move the eyes of Suzanne, and the rest of the geometry will not move. And like this, I'm sure I don't make any mistake on the rest of the geometry, okay? So it can be interesting to work like that too. Or let's say we make the selection to remake the hat of Suzanne here. With A, I deselect everything, and I make my selection with C, for example. Okay, just to have this kind of selection really quick. Like that. Okay, I will just duplicate this into the Z-axis with Shift-D-Z, and with S, I will just can move and GZ again, okay? And I can have a beginning of a hat. But let's say I would like to move the hat only. If I have the proportional editing without connected only, I will move the hat and the shape of the head and everything around. Me, if I want to move only the hat, that is only, that is an island or vertex, I can move only the hat. So very quick way to select a loop, for example, here, and to create another shape with what we have and make something like this, for example, or I don't know what we want to do really with that, but it can be really handy to use like that. Okay, so let's say I would like to take back this one and put it there. Okay, good. So now we have a beginning of a hat, let's say. So as you can see, this here is really powerful, and for everything that is organic, I would say it's a must-have and a must-know here. So don't hesitate to use that one. Another here option is the projected from view. Okay, so I will take this example to show you. Again with Suzanne, I will make a L here, and I will remove everything, and I will take maybe the eye here. If I go into side view and then I want to move this with the proportional editing normal, not with connected only, I will move only the part of this eye. Okay, and you can see that it's stretched my left eye, but not the right eye. So here only my left eye is stretched. But if I use the projected from the view, so it will project from the view, and everything around this will be selected by default. So like this, I stretch everything, whatever I select. So it can be useful to, sometimes you are on that view and you will say, okay, I want to stretch everything. And like this, you are sure you did a mirror job, okay? And it can help for some tasks sometimes, okay? It's not something I use every day too, but it's something that can be useful sometimes. So that's it for the proportional editing. So whatever shape you will have to manage, it can be easy. Sometimes too, just with a last one, with a cylinder, let's take something like 24, not too high poly, and I will go into edit mode and make a SZ like this, and I will just add a lot of here of geometry there, okay? And this can be very useful to work with. Like for example, let's say we would like to make a kind of vase or something like that. So I will take a loop, only one loop here, and I will just remove this option and select the smooth here, and just with S and a big interpolation mode like this, we can have the beginning of a shape of the vase. But you can see that it's scaled into the z-axis too. So if I make a S Shift Z, it will remove the z-axis, and like this I will have really a better and better interesting shape. So we'll take this loop here and S Shift Z too, and it will make now a shape like that. Okay, good. Let's say I would like to take this back and S Shift Z to have a more interesting shape, and the same for that one, but for that one we will use here the sharp, okay, and we will make S Shift Z again on that side. So you will have a lot of possibilities that that can be useful. S Shift Z for that one too, okay, something like this or something like that too can be interesting. And here now you have an interesting shape just with the proportional editing by selecting only a few loops like this, and you can see that these loops didn't move and they are still the same distance between each other like that. Okay, so interesting feature, easy to use, and I recommend you to make some little experimentations. So do the little landscape, do the little vase or other shapes here, and train yourself a little with this. Just remember that this one will appear only when you start an operation. It will work, for example, with rotation too. So if you make a rotation, you will have the proportional editing, or a scale, it will make the proportional editing on it too. If you make a RZ here, for example, it can be handy to make a kind of spiral shape. Okay, so interesting one too. LZ like this, and you will have interesting selections after available there to make, I don't know, maybe we can make just something really quick like this, just by selecting Shift, Alt Shift left click, and just with an extrusion now, or maybe a Y, to create this shape, and an extrusion, and Alt S, without the proportional editing, and you have something interesting, just really quick like that. Okay, so now we make a little modifier subdivision surface, and you have something that can be useful for what you want to do. Okay, so a shape like that, very quick. But we will see this kind of exercises after, for sure. So that's it for the proportional editing. We will have a look on the snapping option into the next video.